Hello 8th class, welcome back again. I wish you all a very good morning. In our previous class, we were discussing about chapter number 5, that is data handling. Chapter number 5. In that we covered how to represent our data. Representing the data. We covered three main ways of representing data. First was using pictograph. Then we had bar graph, and then we have double bar graph. In our questions, it will not be, sometimes it will be specified explicitly and sometimes it will not be, that we have to use what way to represent our data. We have to make our own conclusion based on some information. Suppose if we want to make it more presentable, we will be using symbols to represent our data. If we have the data for which we are using pictograph can also be represented using bar graph. Double bar graph is mainly used for comparison of data when we have two sets of data simultaneously. Next is our organization of data. Today we will be doing organization of data. We have represented our data. Now we want to organize our data. Organization of data. For it, we have again three methods. First is we use tally marks. Then we use frequency distribution table. Frequency is the number of quantity is occurring in our given data. Frequency distribution table, and the third one is our grouped frequency distribution table. For frequency distribution table and tally marks, we use bar graph to represent our data. We use bar graph here, or maybe sometime a double bar graph. But for grouped frequency distribution, we use histogram to represent our data. I will talk about what is a histogram and how to make it. But we are going to start with our tally marks. So suppose we are going to understand that by one example. Suppose we have data like this. We did a survey, and in that survey we had few students who like to study arts, few students who like to study non-medical, some students wanted to study medical field. So we calculated the data for arts, and we were writing the choices. First student liked art, we wrote art. Then second student preferred non-medical, so we wrote non-medical. Then we had medical student, then we have art student, then next art, preferred art. So we were just collecting our data. We collected the data. Collecting the data, and now after collection of data, suppose one more non-medical, okay, 1 2 3 4 1 2. After collection of data, we want to organize it. So because here we can't make any inference from this data, we are looking at this and we are just making a conclusion that these are the choices, nothing else, nothing more. So we will organize it. How I organize it? We will then In one column we will write the subject. So our subjects are art, non-medical and medical. Then in next column we will write the frequency. Frequency, as we discussed just now, is the number of time, or you can say count, a category is occurring in the given data. In raw data, number of times a category is occurring. So suppose we are talking about art. So art is occurring 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So frequency of art is 4. It is occurring 4 times. Then non-medical, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 times. So the frequency of non-medical is 6. Then we have medical, 1 and 2. So it is having frequency as 2. Now how we represent telemarks? For every frequency we represent it by a 1 bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to 4 we will be using such bars like this. And after 4 we will be using 1, 2, 3, 4, and this will be our 5, and this is our 6. 1, 2. So till 4 will be using bar, 5 will be across over the bars, and 6 will be the next set of 4 bars. So this will be our telemarks. We have represented using telemarks. The presentation of frequency here is not compulsory. We can skip this step. We can directly write our telemarks by counting these. But if we are using frequency and we are representing our data like this, then the whole table is going to be known as frequency distribution table. Frequency distribution table. This is our frequency distribution table. Okay, we are going to take one example from our NCERT only, and we will check that how we are going to use telemarks and frequency distribution. Suppose we are doing try these, page 72. Page 72, try these. And yet we have a group of students who were asked to say which animal they would like most to have as a pet, and they have a result as this. So they have dog, cat, fish, cat, rabbit, then again dog, cat, rabbit, dog, cat, dog, again dog, cat, cow, fish, rabbit. We are just writing the data given in our book. Rabbit, dog, cat, dog, cat, dog, then rabbit, cat, fish and dog. Okay, this is the data given, and we have to make a frequency distribution table for the same. So we are going to make the frequency distribution. For frequency distribution table, first we have to write the pets given. Okay, we are using how many kinds of pet? We are using dog, then we are using cat, then we are using fish, then we are using rabbit, dog, cat, rabbit, then we are using cow also. So we have 5 kinds of pets here, and then we are going to represent our frequency. In frequency, writing of telemarks is not necessary, and similarly when we are performing drawing telemarks, writing of frequency is not necessary. So now we are writing frequency. We are going to count the dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times. 10 people are preferring dog as a pet. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. 10 people are preferring cat as a pet. Then fish. 1, 2, 3. 3 people prefer fish as a pet. And then we have rabbit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people prefer rabbit as a pet, and we have cow as one. So this is our frequency distribution table. This is our frequency distribution table. If you want to represent our data using, organize our data using telemarks also. So what we will do, we will write telemarks. We can use the same table. So 10, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to 4 there will be bars. Fifth will be like this. Then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Similarly for this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 1, 2, 3. Then 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, so it will be like this only. So this is our telemarks. Now sometimes the data is in this form, but sometimes suppose we are calculating the weight of we want to organize the weight of every student in our school. Then there are going to be more than 3,000 or 4,000 weights of different students. So organizing that data using telemarks or frequency is going to be very cumbersome. Why? Because some people are going to have 40 kgs, 40, 50, 55, 60, 67, 68, 70. So the table is going to be very long, and that will be very difficult to organize and very difficult to represent using bar graph or any other method. So what we will do, we will group that frequency. We will group that. So how we will club? Suppose we want to club the people having, the children, the students having weight from 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, 20 to 30 kgs. We are going to club the number of children in that, and then we are going to use those groups to show to organize our data, and later to represent our data using histogram. Okay, so we are moving on to group frequency distribution table now. In group frequency distribution table, we are going to take one example so that we can understand that what kind of data will make us use grouped frequency distribution table. We are using grouped frequency distribution table. While we are focusing on how to represent them, we should also focus on when to use which method. It will not be told you explicitly that you have to use this data. Sometimes it will be, but other times it won't be. So you have to use your intelligence to find out if you have to use the frequency distribution or grouped frequency distribution. Suppose we have a data like this. Here it is given in this example. Here, this data this is the marks of students out of 50 obtained in mathematics by 60 students of the class. Now this is a very large data. Okay, large data. So if we are going to make frequency distribution table for each observation, the table would be so long. So what we will do, we will group the data like this. We will group students having marks between 0 to 10. There are 2 students. Then people having marks between 10 to 20. 10. 20 to 30, 21, like this. So the counting is easy. I'm just writing the grouped frequency distribution table and then going to introduce some terms. Group, telemarks and frequency. we are not writing frequency for single term now, single value. Now we are writing frequency for groups. So 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. This is on page number 73. Now why we are writing this table? Because we want to understand some terms related to group frequency distribution table. So we can use that in our exercise. 19, 7 and 1, total is 60. This is given to us. We can draw our telemarks by ourselves. It is going to be 1, it is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 and 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7. Okay, and 1. This is our telemark. And this is our group frequency distribution table. Why is this group frequency distribution table? Because we are using now frequency for groups rather than single value, single terms. Suppose in previous example we were using here using one item here. It was maybe dog or maybe cat or maybe rabbit or maybe cow. So we have different frequencies for this different data values, but in this we might be having 8 marks, 7 marks, 6 marks and like this. We are using grouped, we are clubbing them to make our data concise. Now in this we are going to talk about this. What are these? These are known as our class intervals. Class intervals. These are known as classes. These are classes. And this 0 to 10 is a class interval, 10 to 20 is a class interval, 20 to 30 this is a class interval. So class intervals are 0 to 10, then suppose 10 to 20 and so on and so on. These are class intervals. Now we are going to talk about the width and size of class interval. Size of class interval. Size of class interval, how do we calculate? We calculate the lower value from the upper value. It is 10 minus 0. It will be equal to 10, or you can do 20 minus 10. It will again be, you can find the difference of any class interval and it is going to be always same. For this question, the size of class interval is going to be 10. Now you have to understand lower class limit and upper class limit. This for every class interval. This is I'm going to take 0 to 10. This is your upper class limit. And this value is known as lower class limit. And there will be upper class limit and lower class limit for every group. So in this it is lower class limit is 0, upper class limit is 10. In this lower class limit is 10, upper class limit is 20. In this class interval, size of class interval, lower class limit, upper class limit. Okay. So in this class interval, lower class limit is 20, upper class limit is 30. In this lower class limit is 10, 30, upper is 40 and so on. Now grouping, how do we decide that group is going to be 0 to 10? In some example we will be clubbing them 0 to 10. In some example we will be clubbing them as 0 to 50 or 0 to 15 or 0 to 25 or anything like that. That will depend upon our convenience. So we will we will use the same procedure that we used to do in our scaling procedure. The scale, how do we decide scale? We decided scale on the basis of convenience, so it can fit in our graph. Similarly, we will be using groups so that it is more manageable. It will fit in our graph because we will be using now this group frequency distribution table to represent our data. This is a way of organization of data. Then we will be representing this data. Now one more thing, you will be wondering that 10 is present here as the upper class limit of this class, and 10 is also present here as the lower class limit of this class. So if we are going to have 10 marks, if a student is going to have 10 marks, in which class interval we are going to put him, where we will count him, here or here, or should we count them in both the class intervals? So to understand that in which class we have to represent, we have to understand this part. Here we are using square bracket and here we are using small bracket. Square bracket means this number is included and this bracket means this number is not included. So 10 is not included in this class interval, but 10 is included in this class interval. So 10 will be counted in this class interval. Okay, like this. So 10 will be counted here. You can write 10 will be counted here. Similarly, if you want to know where 40 will be counted here or here, so you have to remember that it will be counted in the bigger class interval. So bigger class interval is this, so it will be counted here. So 40, similarly 40 will be counted here. Or either you can just learn it that we will be counting the numbers in higher class interval, or you can use the brackets to represent your data, square bracket and small bracket. Square bracket means data is included and small bracket means data is not, this number is not included. So this was all about grouped frequency distribution table, and if we have to represent this data, we will be using histogram. For histogram is bit similar to bar graph but bit different from that also, in the sense that in bar graph we used to leave equal gaps in between the bars. Okay, we have bar of equal width, but we will be leaving equal gap between two bars. But in frequency distribution table, grouped frequency distribution table, our data is continuous. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. There are no gaps there. It means we won't be leaving the gaps that we left in our bar graph, normal bar graph. So I am going to represent our data using histogram, or you can say bar graph or group frequency distribution table. For this data only, this is available on page number 73. So I will just be making the histogram and removing this data. Page number 73. So in this, first x-axis and x-axis and y-axis. This is our y-axis. This is our x-axis. I am going to write later on. Then in this we are going to write the frequency of whatever. Okay, whatever we are provided with. Here we are provided with marks of students. So we will write frequency of marks here. Here we are going to write the group, or you can say class intervals. You can write class intervals or you can say groups, whatever you are comfortable with. Now we are starting from 0, and we have 10, then we have 20, then we have 30, 40, 50. We have data up to 60. Okay, 60. So the bar for 0 to 10 will be represented here, bar for 10 to 20 will be represented here, and 20 for 30 here. So you can see that there are no gaps left in between. Now we are going to represent the frequency. This is fixed. This was fixed scale because we have chosen the class interval of size as 10. So we are using 1 unit as 10. But for y-axis, we have the smallest data as 1 and the greatest data as 21. So what we will do, we will choose a scale for y-axis. On y-axis, On y-axis, we will choose a scale. 1 unit, how much? We have smallest as 1 and the greatest as 21. We can use 2 units as, or 1 unit as 5. Will that be enough? Yes, it will be enough. Okay. 5 students or 5 students. Yes. 5 students. 1 unit is equal to 5 students. So I am going to write 5. Then I am going to write 10. Then 50. Then 20. And then 25. So as we know that we have 10 divisions in each unit. So 2 units here, 2 divisions, 2 small divisions here. I am writing 2 small divisions will represent 1 student. Okay. If we want to know, if we have 21 students, then I am going to count 2 divisions after 20. So here it will be 20. Similarly for other class intervals also. Now first 0 to 10 we have frequency as 2. 2 means we have 2 small divisions, 1 student. So we want to represent 2 students. So we have to count how many divisions? 4 small divisions. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, it is 4. It will be like this. Bar like this. This is 4. Then 10 to 20 we have 10. 10 is going to be this. 10 to 20. 10. Then we have 20 to 30, 21. So 21 is this, and this is going to be, these are continuous bars, no gap between them. Okay, 21, after 21 we have 19. So 19 is 2 divisions below this. So it is going to be like this. This is 19. Then 40 to 50 is 7. 7 means after 4 divisions. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be our 7. You will be using proper graphs and ruler and pencil to represent your data. 50 to 60 is 1. So after 2 divisions, so it will be like this. This is 1. So this is our histogram. Last step is to give title to your bar graph, to give title to your histogram. It will be the distribution of students as per their marks. Okay. So this is the histogram. Or it is also known as bars with a difference. But this name is more popular, so we are going to call it as histogram. So one more thing. Sometimes your data doesn't start from 0 to 10. We have no data for 0 to 10. Or maybe 10 to 20 also we don't have data. So we start from maybe 30 to 40. The first bar that we are using representing is 30 to 40. So to cover that gap we use suppose we don't have this and we want to represent our data from starting from 10. Okay, I'm rubbing this. Suppose if I want to start data from 50 to 60. No student has 70, 80, 90, 100. No student in class have less than 50 marks. So I am going to start with 50. So 50 to this is this. So what I am going to do with this, should this represent 0 to 50? It will be asymmetrical because now here each bar is representing 10 ka gap, 10 class interval, and here it is representing 50. So what we will do, we cover it by a broken line. We broke it like this. This broken line means here the scale is not used. This is your broken line. or sometimes it is also known as jagged line or jagged line. Jagged line, and this is used to show that our scale, our usual scale is not working here, It is mostly used in our horizontal data, but sometimes in our senior classes we will see that we use this broken line in vertical data also. So with this we are going to end our class for today. In our next class we will be doing exercise 5.1 and we will be representing our data using different ways. So have a good day.